Welcome to Gossip About Gossip, powered by Hedera Hashgraph. In each episode, we'll cut through the hype of blockchain promises and explore real-world examples of organizations creating the next generation of decentralized applications, which will bring trust back to the internet for us all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Gossip About Gossip, the podcast where we talk about real-world applications of distributed ledger technology. My name is Zenobia Godschalk, and I'm the SVP of Communications here at Swirlds Labs, helping to grow the Hedera ecosystem. Today, I am delighted to be joined by our newest council member, Aberdeen, and we have Duncan Moir from the team there. Hi, Duncan. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good, good. So, I know for a lot of folks in Europe, they are familiar with the Aberdeen name, but for our global audience, can you share a little bit more about your company and what you all do?
Sure. So Aberdeen is one of Europe's largest investment management firms. We have businesses across asset management, advisory, and personal wealth management. My role at Aberdeen is really focusing on alternative asset classes and new innovative products and new innovation within the company.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about how you came to hear about Hedera and then eventually join the council?
Sure. So I guess, we started, our introduction to Hedera came through looking at tokenizing our funds. And we'd kind of been working on various different projects and had landed on using Hedera for that. And then things kind of went from there. We saw the added value of joining the council, the additional governance and the things that can come from the future as we look to kind of integrate blockchain and DLT across the fund management industry.
And, tokenization means a lot of different things to different people. Can you share a little bit more when you talk about tokenization of assets? What kinds of assets are those?
Yeah. So I guess, there's probably going to be a journey that we go on. I think, right now our bread and butter business is managing mutual funds, essentially. And so day one, what we're looking at is tokenizing the equity interest in those funds. So there's a ton of different use cases and applications for that. It's not just about liquidity. People talk about that a lot. That's obviously one of the benefits. There's the fractionalization as well. So bringing some of the private market assets to smaller investors. But there's a ton of efficiencies that can come from it as well. But that's day one. I think down the line, as the other parts of the market start to evolve, it's not just the fund managers that you need to change. You need lots of different service providers to change as well. We're going to see the individual assets tokenized. I'm thinking, real estate's an obvious one. It's one that everybody talks about. The reality is that very little is done in tokenizing real estate today. And it's typically not the physical building that's tokenized. It's usually some trust or deed around that, some vehicle, some wrapper. But as the industry matures, blockchain begins to be adopted by other groups, that's going to come. And so we're going to see real estate, real asset investments, private markets. I can see VC and PE fitting really well in here in the future.
Yeah, and typically those asset classes have really been limited, right? And unless you had the funds to be an accredited investor or to, purchase your own building, those were very illiquid investments.
Yeah, totally. And to be honest with you, it's not just the liquidity that keeps people out. There's the size. Yeah, so the minimum size. There is the liquidity, the complexity. If you don't have the kind of resources to go about, you're making a very large investment, you've got to dedicate a lot of time and effort to that, especially if you're going to be locked up. A lot of people just don't have that. And I think, most of the focus is on these private assets, but in truth, very, very simple assets such as, bonds, corporate bonds are not available to the individual investor. Right? They in themselves have, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not tens of millions. But for most individuals, a portfolio of individual corporate bonds is completely out of the question if it's a bespoke portfolio. So again, fractionalization of those, there's huge application there.
Well, and I think, even there's been a number of stories here in the US in terms of how difficult it is to buy treasury bonds, right? The antiquated website and the limits that they have there. So
yeah. I mean, in the US as well, there's the other kind of municipal bonds. I mean, it's an amazing story. Like you imagine this, I don't know, there's a toll bridge or a road that you use every day and you're paying to use this thing, and that there's a bond behind that. Why not own part of it? And it's kind of coming back around to you.
That's right. Yeah. So bringing all of that, all of those different asset classes, making them more available, it sounds like, and making that transparent. And then I think also to your point, a lot of times when you have some of these investments, the legal paperwork that, then you have to go through and then get sort of shoved in a drawer or kept in a variety of different places, having all of that be accountable, because to your point, some of these assets are, longer term. They return in, a much longer time frame.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's a ton of different steps that you need to go through to own any of these assets. And that's individual assets or even funds. And they're all like, the records of each step is held on its own kind of like mini ledger. That's like somebody's got one on an Excel sheet, one in a PDF, and another in a Word doc, and none of it can communicate, across each other. So it's a minefield just now. Most hedge fund investments to date are faxed, so that's pretty old school.
Yeah, or UPS, right?
Some fund managers still provide their NAVs on a quarterly basis via post.
Oh, goodness. Lovely to get things in the mail, but probably not the things that you want to keep, squared away and on time. So you recently joined the rest of the council members in Dubai. How was that first experience meeting them all?
Oh, that was great. I mean, there was a lot of folk there. I think you get the added value of just seeing people face to face. You're going to be interacting with these people on a pretty regular basis via VC or whatever. And I think just getting everybody face to face, kind of like a icebreaker type thing was really important. But there was so much discussion. It was pretty energizing.
Good. And, as you, as Aberdeen, take a look at the next 6 to 12 months, what do you hope to accomplish? We won't hold you to it. But,
So I think the first tokenized funds from us is the obvious one. But I think there's more that we can do in helping to kind of bring other parts of the fund management industry into the discussion. So I think that's also, I really see that as part of our role as well. It's not just about the individual investments that we want to tokenize. I think there's also the kind of it's the rising tide lifts all ships sort of thing. We need other parts of the market to get on board as well. So we're going to take it upon ourselves to kind of encourage that adoption.
And Aberdeen has been, quite a leader in this space. I mean, it seems like you all have been, watching the space, engaged in a number of sort of DLT and crypto projects. How does this fit in with that overall strategy?
Sure. So this is like, I guess our strategy is quite broad, but this really fits into, it has touch points into applying the technology to our existing business, which is, the clear one, but also being involved from a strategic standpoint in technology that's going to kind of drive the future of finance. We think so. We have kind of three parts to our strategy in terms of product, technology, and then the strategic kind of infrastructure related part. And this fits neatly into that. So we're really excited to see where this goes and where we can help. Hedera Hashgraph find kind of use cases within financial services.
Absolutely. And Duncan, anything else that you would like to share with our audience, our community, developers, other folks who may be thinking about joining the council?
Well, I mean, first thing I would say is we would never say we're we're not the kind of the experts at any one thing. And so there's always somebody that knows something a little bit more. We welcome any connectivity, and anybody wants to reach out and learn a bit about what we're doing and see where they might be able to work with us. We'll definitely welcome that. So please reach out, grab me on LinkedIn or whatever. And if anyone thinking about joining the council, there's a few spots left, and there's a rotation. And from what I've seen so far, it looks really worthwhile. You meet and interact with kind of amazing people across a range of different industries, which is usually unique for most people. Usually stick to your kind of sector, but you get an entirely different perspective. And then you find out that actually a lot of your different companies interact with one another. There's actually a lot of overlap. So there's synergies there as well. So it looks totally worthwhile so far, and look forward to working with new members that come on.
Yeah, it's a small world, and I think we're making it smaller by making these connections.
Yeah.
Well, Duncan, thank you. Aberdeen is certainly leading the charge in this area. We are really excited to see what you build, and we hope you will come back and join us again and keep us posted on your progress.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.